All right, let's do this. So let's start with introducing yourself, your name and your age and where you're from, just a little bit about you.
Sure. Hey, I'm Chris Wojtek. Let me start over again.
Go ahead. Yeah,
All
go ahead.
right. Hey, I'm Chris. I'm 47 years old. I live in Greensboro, North Carolina. Um, I've got a wife and two kids, and that they were part of my impetus for choosing to do something better.
Sure. And how long has it been since you've joined the program?
It has been about 10 weeks. I joined at the end of February.
10 weeks. Okay. And what kind of results have you seen in your first 10 weeks of joining the program?
In the first 10 weeks, I'm down almost 18, right around 18 pounds right now,
Pretty
in
darn
weight
good.
loss. And also, I've been going to the gym prior to that, and I've seen a lot more improvement as far as strength gains and variety of exercises in that 10 weeks too.
Great. Yeah. And that's amazing. 18 pounds in 10 weeks is certainly a great achievement, certainly a great accomplishment. And the one thing I always tell you, this is only the start of your journey. So that's what makes it even more exciting.
Yes.
Um, but what is something that you really struggled with that you're a little bit better now before joining the program that was a little bit more tough for you?
I think I struggled with a variety of exercises. I kind of got stuck in a rut and was doing the same thing over and over and really not seeing much in the way of results. Things were holding steady, but, wasn't losing the weight that wasn't seeing the weight loss that I saw initially.
Sure.
And then, strength was improving, but not a whole lot.
Yeah.
Um, the one thing I think that I really wasn't taking into consideration at that point before joining the program was nutrition. In my head, I was thinking, all right, I'm doing okay. But after joining the program and some of our conversations, realized just not that my nutrition was horrible,
Mhm.
but it wasn't helping me with the goals that I was looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's totally understandable. And what made you finally want to join the program? I mean, I know that you and I had a conversation, of course, initially, and we talked about the program and what everything looks like. But what was kind of the big decision maker for you to be like, hey, this is it. This is the program that I want to join.
I had looked at a couple different things, and uh, I think our conversations really are what led me to join the program. We had a couple calls before I made that decision. You took your time and answered all the questions I had, listened to what I had to say, what my journey was like, and helped me come up with a plan, you know, that was customized to myself.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And since joining the program, what's one thing that maybe you weren't quite expecting that kind of surprised you inside of the program, whether it's results or just kind of inside of the program delivery and different stuff that we do? What's maybe one thing that kind of surprised you a little bit?
I think one thing that surprised me is that the Monday night calls, the variety and the content, some of those things have hit home with me in more ways than one. Particular, the dining out.
Yeah.
I had a week recently. I think it was a week or two after that call. Maybe that was a month ago or so. And I had a weekend where I went out on Friday night to celebrate my wedding anniversary with my wife. Went out to a baseball game on Saturday night with my friend, or excuse me, with my son, and then went out on Sunday with some friends to celebrate a special occasion. And despite doing all that, and with the knowledge that I've learned, was able to still see progress that week and not feel like I ruined what I did Monday through Friday afternoon by eating out 3 nights in a row.
Yeah. You enjoyed your weekend, you had a good time, and then you stepped on the scale on Monday and you still were down in weight. Like that's pretty awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
And the other one was there was a hiking and camping trip I had a couple weeks ago where you know we didn't have cell phone access where we were.
Mhm.
So the app doesn't work
Yeah.
without the cell
Sure.
phone access.
Sure.
and which is fine. But that was, maybe 7 or 8 weeks into the program, and at that point, I had gotten used to, keeping track of things and knowing, kind of getting much better idea of what was good, what was bad,
Yep.
what to watch out for. And again, that weekend, despite, not having the app to track it and not really having control of my food, what the nutrition was, because it was a, group camping trip, again, still was able to make good decisions and see progress over that weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's because of the things that you learned in the first 8 weeks in the program and, tracking your foods and like you said, understanding what's good versus what's bad. When you didn't have access to the resources that you normally have, you were still able to make good and conscious decisions of, what's good versus what's not. So
Yeah, absolutely.
that's always a bonus. And how would you say this program compares to things that, say, you maybe tried before, whether it's other programs in the past or other things that you've done on your own? What would you say is the biggest difference between this program and those things?
I think the biggest difference between this and maybe what I've tried in the past is the support, whether that's from you or from the chat, from other people in the program. To see everybody's progress, food pictures, food ideas, exercise ideas, and their progress. It's motivating.
Hmm.
And I've done a group thing in the past, and for me, with my schedule, group thing doesn't really work so much because sometimes it's hard to just for me to get to the gym or get to where I need to be at a particular time. And especially with kids and sports schedules and school schedules. So having that support in a group, but really still being able to work independently and not missing anything, was definitely appealing to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it allows that flexibility, but at the same time, you feel like you're a part of a community of other like-minded individuals and other individuals with similar goals. So that way you can see other people that align with you, right? And you get
Yeah.
motivation, you get lots of good stuff out of it. And the community is of course one of my favorite parts as well. So with the results that you've seen, losing 18 pounds in 10 weeks is obviously incredible. And outside of those results, right? The results that you've seen specifically in the gym or the changes in your weight, what are results that you've seen just in your day-to-day life outside of just the physical changes? How has it positively affected your day-to-day life? And what are some bigger results that you see there?
Well, there's a couple, and I'll say first, starting to track the food and nutrition, really led me to cut back on some drinking a little bit.
Yeah.
Not that that was a problem, but it might be a beer here or a drink there, but over the course of the week, maybe that was 7 to 10 drinks, where one or two now is normal for me.
Mhm.
Probably some other items that pop up. I am sleeping so much better at night,
Yeah.
because I'm worn out at the end of the day,
Mhm.
and not just mentally. There were a lot of days where I'd go to bed, my brain was tired, but my body wasn't, and so I struggled to fall asleep. Um, and then, a few weeks ago, I made the switch to going to the gym in the morning, mostly because of how crowded it was getting in the evening. Um, but that has been a really big thing for me because I get up in the morning, I still have my cup of coffee before I head out to the gym.
Mhm.
But then, get my workout in the morning, and it really just perks me up for the whole day.
Yeah.
And gets things moving for the day. And I get into the office, instead of feeling like I was in a cloud or foggy for the first hour. I'm ready to hit the ground running as soon as
Yeah.
I hit my desk. And that continues throughout the day for me. It goes all through the day. I come home, and usually I go out for my walk in the evening after I get home, and then I spend dinner with my family, and then some family time in the evening, and
Yeah.
have the time and energy for all of it.
Yeah. And it's pretty cool how everything feeds off of each other, right? When you prioritize nutrition and workouts, it helps with sleep. And then in return, when you get better sleep at night, it aids to your workouts and your hunger hormones and how everything regulates properly with your nutrition. So it's kind of crazy how it kind of all bumps off of each other. But, like I talk about all the time, it's true. That's just how your body operates. And obviously, you're seeing the benefits from it.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
definitely.
Now, my last and final question for you is, what's something that maybe you would say to somebody who is considering a program like this or considering joining the team? What's something that you would say to an individual like that?
That's a harder question because I hadn't thought about that. That's
Sure.
a little bit bigger than just me. I would say that if you're considering doing, a program like this and working with a fitness coach, and whether it's for weight loss or whatever your goal is, for me, that my primary goal was weight loss. You know, Today you're not getting any younger. Today is the first day of the rest of your life, and it was time for me just to jump in and do it.
Yeah.
I had some other motivating factors pushing behind that, and I think when you get to the point where you're, talking to different coaches and deciding on something, eh, there's no better time than jumping in,
Yeah.
um, because wasting time is wasting results. You're not going
Right.
to see anything until you start doing the work.
Mhm. Yeah, what's there to wait for, right? There's
Yeah,
no better
exactly.
time than right now. That's awesome. Yeah, so Chris, you've been in the program for 10 weeks, seen great results through the first 10 weeks, and obviously we still have a long way to go. This is only the beginning, and I'm super, super excited to see what things hold for you in the future. I do appreciate you for taking the time today, and that's all I have.
Yeah, no problem. Have a great day.
Yep. Okay, so that's it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Um,